Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Hello, welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Duprey. Got a special co-host today. Welcome, everybody. Sindye Alexander. How you doing, Sindye?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, so good to have you. Cindy's a co-owner of the business with me, and we love doing podcast episodes together. Carol's taking a break. We're going to do a 3-week co-hosting here, Sindye and I. We're going to do a 3-week series on improving your workplace culture. And that's a big topic, Sindye, isn't it? Because we're hearing from a lot of owners that are struggling with workplace culture. Do you hear a lot?
I do. And it's actually, it's one of the plagues of our industry. I mean, everybody has a big heart and wants to do, a great job for the kids, but it's a stressful job. And we're not dealing with, screwdrivers or widgets or, bags of chips that we're selling. Our business is caring for children. And when you're a caregiver, your emotions are involved. And so it can be a little bit more of a high stress environment, or a little bit more of a charged environment sometimes. And that can be really great, or it could be a hurdle.
Absolutely. And I'm hearing that from a lot of people. So what's first of all, before we get started, let's define what a positive culture looks like in a childcare setting. What does it feel like when everything's firing right?
Well, when you walk into a room in just about any situation, you can feel an energy. And it's that way in childcare as well. And I think a really, really great childcare culture, you're going to see signs of, there's smiling teachers, there's music, there's laughter, there's a little bit more chaos in the air than sit down and listen to your teacher, and those types of things. You're going to see team members working together, sharing resources, bringing each other coffees, or, relaying messages, having each other's backs. So it's not only, the environment or the energy that you feel coming, what the kids are experiencing, because if the kids are happy, the teachers are probably pretty happy, but you're not going to feel that tension between, oh, did you see the way she just said that? Or did you notice she was 2 minutes late and what's in her hand? She's got a Starbucks, and so they're going to give each other a little bit of grace when something like that happens. So it's really about the energy and about the communication and about working together. What do you see? How are they working together?
Love that. Carol and I do a lot of site visits around the country at schools, and we could always tell when we walk into a school what centers are firing well with culture, and also which ones are struggling. Just in 5 minutes, just walking around looking at staff, I could usually tell. So, Sindye, how would somebody know if their culture was off or thriving? Like, what are some differentiators so we find out?
Gosh.
Like, what?
So, I mean, it's really easy to know if your culture is off. You're going to have a lot of callouts, tardies, not following policies, gossiping, backbiting, reluctance to do the work, doing mediocre work, doing just enough to keep your job. And, I call it like a butt in a seat. You have to have the teacher there for the ratio. You haven't fired him yet because you need him there for the ratio, but you wouldn't. Nobody would care if that particular person was gone. So it's the complete opposite of that happy place you want to be. You feel the stress, you feel the tension in the air. They're not working together. They're hoarding supplies because they don't want the toddler room to get the purple paper before Valentine's Day. It's pretty obvious when it's toxic. So if you start to notice a lot of bickering, a lot of call-offs, and just that really tense energy, it might be time to have a conversation with the team or with certain individuals to kind of get to the bottom of what's going on.
Cindy, I've seen one person turn a staff culture or the whole team culture around, meaning that it goes from positive to negative with just one person. It's like cancer. It starts and it just spreads. Well, it happens the same thing with culture, right? You've seen the same thing with with the people that we work with, how one person could affect it, and getting rid of that one toxic employee. How does that make a difference in your school?
Oh, it can make the hugest difference. And, a lot of times we hold on to the wrong people for too long. A lot of times there's emotions involved in letting somebody go. You want to make sure that you did the right thing. But boy, when you rip the Band-Aid off and you remove that toxicity from your workplace environment, the rest of your team is going to thank you. I've experienced it a few times, and they are more willing to do overtime to cover the shifts while you have to, hire somebody else or to rearrange classrooms in order to accommodate that, the ratio differences. Because sometimes you have to make little adjustments when you make a staff change like that. But it really is true that one apple can spoil the whole bunch, because that toxicity, that I don't know, that bacteria, that mold, it spores, it starts to land in little spots on other people, and then it starts to fester, and then they start exhibiting signs of a negative environment, or a negative attitude, and it infects the whole workplace environment. And we all have seen or heard the illustration about a ripple in the pond. When you throw a ripple in the pond, it goes out and out and out and out, and you don't know how far it goes. Negativity can do that as well as positivity. And what I would rather do, and I saw this, I feel like it might have been on a Facebook meme, or maybe it was on one of the survivalist shows that I watch. I love survivalist shows. But there was a scene of somebody had done that. They threw a pebble in a body of water, but around that body of water, there was a cliff that was kind of overhanging the body of water. It was like a rock face. And the sun was shining on that body of water just perfectly. So that way, the reflection of the ripples came back at you also on the side of that cave wall, that cliff wall. And I just loved that little scene as a even broader or a more impactful representation of how, when you throw that positivity out in the pond, it's going to reflect back at you and grow. It's more than the ripples that it makes. It's the way that those ripples impact the environment and reflect back at you. So I am all for positivity. Like, let's throw those positive pebbles out into our pond, our childcare center, so that way when it was reflecting back at us on that wall, we can see the difference that we made a little bit more clearly than you can like ripples that are on the same plane. Does that make sense? I don't know. It was a very beautiful illustration when I saw it.
I just love that. That's full, and I love the positivity thing, and I could just picture the ripple in my mind, for sure. But how can you use your center's core values to shape behaviors and decision making?
Oh, I love the use of core values, because not only just communicating the core values to your team and to your clients helps people to understand what you stand for, what you align with, what's important to you in your business, all of those things. So it communicates it so people can self-select you, they can align with you, they can choose you, because it's a little bit deeper than just picking out which is the best product. Okay, it's like this is a really great product, the service that you offer, and it also aligns with the values that I have. It's what I want to see for my child, and those emotions are involved in the decisions. But when you have these core values clearly defined and you use them to make decisions or to kind of shape what you want to see in your program, it takes that subjectivity out of it. So if one of your team members is exhibiting a behavior that might not line up with a family value, like if family is one of your core values, or that it doesn't align with integrity or impact, or whatever your core value is, you can use that as the reason that you have to have the talk. Like, oh, I know that, okay, this was kind of a gray area and you chose this way, but it doesn't really align with this core value that we have. So next time, let's keep that in mind. And so it can make the conversation about correcting behavior or correcting attitude, it can make that conversation a little bit more about what the mission we're on together versus you did something wrong, right? It brings us all in alignment. We're all doing this together and we're all trying to have integrity as the core value. So let's do things that really drive that home versus operate in gray. And that's just one example that I, thought of on the top of my head. But I think core values really, really help guide those conversations.
Somebody might be out there saying, what are core values? Because we're assuming everybody knows what they are. Maybe
Oh,
if somebody's new to the business, they might not understand what core values. I want to take a minute and just go over what core values are.
yeah. Core values are basically you come up with words that represent what is important to you, either what your values are or what your mission is in your business. So, and I mentioned family. A lot of times people have a family or friendship, something like that, as one of their core values. And that's common in this industry because we are a business that is trying to help families, right? Um, and so you take a word and then you have like a defining sentence like at ABC Child Care Center we strive to support the whole family through education, care, and high quality uh, whatever. I'm off the top of my head. And so that kind of defines how family is important to you. And then you can take it even further and you can have a couple of defining sentences. This is what it looks like. So we will have a monthly engagement opportunity where parents can come into the center, meet other members of our ABC childcare family, whether those are staff or clients. We're going to have a parent perk night once a month because we know that um, parents need to get out and have adult time. So we want to support you in that. So we're going to, we have one night a month where we have activities for the kids so parents can go out. Another way is families help each other. And so we're going to do what we can to support each other within the environment. So that's basically what a core value is. And I think it's really great if you don't have them already set for your center, get your team involved and ask them to come up with words that either describe what you're already doing or what you're striving to do. And then you bring all those words together. Some of them are going to be very similar. Like impact or impact and making a difference. Okay, those are two ways to say kind of the same thing. So you might pick the word that you want to use. I know at Child Care Genius, we developed some core values and we used like the word genius as an acronym. To come up with words that went along with it. And, our N, we love it. It's nerdy because Child Care Genius University, we're all about learning. A lot of times, nerds or people that are interested in intellectual things sometimes get labeled as nerdy. And so like we had some fun with it. So core values, it's a really great way to get your team focused on a bigger picture, a mission, a vision of where you want to go versus they didn't take the trash out last night, so I'm gonna have a bad attitude all day because I had to do one extra thing. It's like, oh, they must have been busy with the kids, so I'll take care of it. It kind of changes the attitude.
Love that. And I guess I'm the head nerd then, so that's pretty cool job. I was kind of nerdy in high school. So anyway,
Me
that's
too. My favorite emoji is the smiley face with the little glasses.
little
So
glasses. Yeah, I could definitely see me in there. I definitely wasn't a jock, that's for sure. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, so that's our time for today, Cindy. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring you back next week, and we're gonna talk about hiring for culture next week and leadership and culture. So that'll be an episode all by itself. So if you are listening to this and you want more, come back in next week's episode. We're gonna deal with like how do you hire, how do you fire, how do you discipline, how do you grow your company using culture as kind of a basis, and core values will help you with that as well. But before we go, I want to let you know that tickets are now on sale for our Leverage Financial Conference in Riviera Maya, Mexico. That's near Cancun at the end of September. It's September 29th to October 2nd, 2025, in Iberostar Paricio Hotel. And the information is all on our website at childcaregenius.com. Go to the conference tab and looking for the Leverage Financial Conference for all the details. Like I said, tickets are on sale right now. The tickets are limited. We have a few left. We'd love to see you there. It's a tax-deductible vacation, and you deserve a vacation. And Sindye will be one of the speakers there, as well as myself and the rest of our team. And we will look forward to seeing you in Mexico. But we'll also see you next week for another episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Child Care Genius community.